Alright, welcome back to another episode of Utena Shadow Girls Explained. In this episode, we'll be doing something a little different by recapping the major events of Episode 4, the Sunlit Garden Prelude, and Episode 5, the Sunlit Garden Finale. The reason we'll be covering 2 episodes instead of 1 is because Mickey's arc spans over this 2-episode period, and the Shadow Girl messages are very much intertwined with both episodes. So with that said, let us recap Episode 4 first. Episode 4 begins cryptically, with a shot of Mickey challenging Utena to a rose battle for the rights of Anthe. Also, Mickey claims that he is attempting to get that music back, which means he is attempting to recover something from the past that he feels he lost. We, as the audience, are not aware of what was lost or how this situation between Utena and Mickey came about. But we methodically get there as we gain access to Mickey's whimsical look on the world that is far from perfect. Back in the present timeline, Mickey is seen playing an elegant song on a piano, and while it impresses Nanami, Mickey seems frustrated by the fact that he's out of tune. He continues by expressing his frustration in not getting the song quote-unquote just right, and hopes he can perfect it for a special girl. Nanami, oblivious as always, assumes the special song is for her, until she opens Mickey's music book and sees a picture of Anthe Himamiya, propelling Nanami to have her friends ridicule and lambaste Anthe once again. Mickey, appalled by the girl's incivility, interjects and saves Anthe. Upon doing so, Anthe thanks the young Mickey, causing him to feel a rush of happiness that he has not experienced for some time. Mickey then assists Anthe in her math homework, and seeing as Anthe and Utena live together, Utena soon finds out that Mickey is a member of the student council, and, by default, a rose duelist. Contrary to Utena's preconceived notions, however, Mickey squashes the idea of fighting for the rights to Anthe, but in the process mentions that Anthe reminds him of a girl he knows. The subsequent day, Mickey plays the piano once again, and the student council president, Toga, notices that Mickey's technique has tapered in exchange for a richer sound, producing an improved result from his past performances. It would seem that Mickey found his special thing. Then we receive another message from the Shadow Girls.
Do you know? Have you heard the news? The first one to fall for me in middle school was the boy who was best in math. Oh, that's news to me. Was he here back then too? But when he found out I like pro wrestling and my noodles with lots of garlic. Oh no! Now I know what kind of girl you are, he said, and then he left me. Oh dear lover. Oh young man who dreams of love. The truth behind the girl. Do you really know what it is? Do you know? Do you know? Do you really know?
After watching this Shadow Girl play, one might infer that Mickey is the math tutor falling in love with Anthe, and when Anthe displays her eccentricities to Mickey, he'll eventually leave her. However, as we see from the future group study session with Anthe, Mickey, Utena, and Nanami, many of Anthe's quirks, like the drawer with the mongoose or the giant inflatable octopus in her closet, are, as Mickey puts it, are cute. And with episode 4 ending with Mickey claiming he found his special thing when he hears Anthe play the piano, we're left with an incomplete answer for the Shadow Girl play. Of course, that's when the next episode comes in. Episode 5 begins with a fencing match between Juri and Mickey, in which Mickey is the victor. Afterwards, Mickey makes an interesting comment to Juri's remark about his improvement, that being, "I still haven't perfected it." This harkens to Mickey's anguish over his idealistic standards in all facets of his life. We see this with his piano playing, his fencing practice, and we are given further insight during the progression of the episode when Mickey's self-punishing idealism mobilizes him to propose the dissolution of the student council, to liberate Anthe from her role as the Rose Bride. This moment, which will be labeled Absolute Destiny Apocalypse, when the student council members discuss the goings about the rose duels, is especially important in this episode. Hence, it seems suitable to analyze this specific moment to supplement our understanding of Mickey, thus providing an easier avenue to understanding the Shadow Girls. Notice that as the meeting starts, there's an apple sitting on a chair. The apple represents reality. While it may be beautiful and sweet, there are imperfections that go along with it, such as bumps, bruises, and sometimes a rotten core. But Mickey, unable to accept reality's flaws due to his incessant need to perfect everything, seeks to rectify Anthe's quote-unquote servitude by abolishing the student council and, by default, the rose duels. This is why the apple transforms into apple bunnies, which is a cutting technique that a Japanese parent does for their child to disguise the fact that they are eating a healthy snack. The apple bunny symbolizes Mickey's childish/distorted view on reality and his unrealistic idyllic standards, a point that Toga and Juri attempt to emphasize in their conversation with the young lad. Of course, with most things in life, it's a lesson that cannot be taught, but must be learned through the coarse trials of reality. Mickey then goes back to the music room where he bumps into a young girl that we later find out is his twin sister. Acting discourteously, Mickey shoves his way into the music room and has a conversation with Toga. Toga stresses that Mickey must fight for what he desires, lest someone else takes it from him, thus strengthening Mickey's resolve to challenge Utena to a rose duel. Before that, however, we are treated to another Shadow Girl riddle.
To the open seas, matey. I am a pirate. Today I set sail upon the 7 seas with my hundreds of men. The precious treasures of the world belong to me. But sir, tell me why. With all your treasure, why don't you have the thing you really want? The thing I really want? The thing you really want. Isn't that why you won't give up being a pirate, Captain? The thing I really want? The thing you really want. The thing I really want is... Captain? We've sprung a leak.
The Shadow Girl who cannot decide what she really wants represents Mickey, a boy who is disillusioned with his sister and wishes he could turn back time to when she could play the piano with refinement and sophistication. But, unfortunately, as we later find out, his sister could never play the piano with the grace that he thought she could, another self-created distortion by Mickey. Hence, he wanders like a pirate in search for the elusive perfection that does not exist. Circling back to the episode 4 Shadow Girl riddle, this is why the boy walks out on the girl when she reveals her eccentricities, a truth that he concealed from himself as a child, and his desertion from the source of his false idealism, i.e. his sister. As we saw in episode 5, Mickey is indignant toward his sister as she embodies what he considers the happiest, most perfect moment of his life, when she was caged by his fanciful expectations of her. But while his illness destroyed his fantasy, as he claimed in the earlier parts of the episode, it liberated his sister to follow her own path, rather than pretending for the sake of Mickey's daydreaming. This is why the Shadow Girls ask, the truth behind the girl, do you know what it is? Because Mickey has not accepted the truth. He has blinded himself, and he has never tried to understand his sister's true feelings on the matter regarding the piano. This is why Mickey has created this self-serving fantasy that only suits himself, and why he is angered by his sister. It's an interesting little contradiction if you think about it. Mickey was attempting to liberate Anthe from the role of the Rose Bride. However, his sister, who he liberated due to his unsought illness, is much happier as a result of it, creating a situation in which he feels abandoned and eternal longing. Hence why the pirate is always searching for that missing treasure, his special thing as he puts it. Hence he won't give up on searching for that special thing. But unfortunately, as the pirates spring a leak that will lead to their eventual downfall, his searching for that special thing, the thing that he self-created and is an illusion that does not exist, will eventually lead to his downfall and demise. An interesting moment also happens in the battle between Utena and Mickey, in which Mickey looks over at Anthe and he says to himself, I can see it in her eyes. She wants to be set free. And now, is he really speaking about Anthe who wants to be set free? Or is he thinking about someone else, perhaps his sister, that has already been set free? But perhaps he's in a childish mindset. He's still reminiscing back to the day where he was unknowingly constraining her to a situation in which she felt imprisoned. So this is where the juxtaposition goes even further. He wants to set Anthe free, but really he's more so talking about his sister, and he still hasn't really come to terms with that truth yet. But through the battle, he's sort of getting there. This is why the idyllic picture of his past shatters at the end of the episode. It's not so much that he's lost this memory, it's that he's beginning to realize that it never really existed in the way that he imagined, and he can finally start moving past it. And of course, that's my interpretation of how the episode's Shadow Girls played out. Of course, if you have any questions about my analysis or Utena in general, you can leave it in the comments. Or if you have any of your own theories, you can share those as well. I'm always open to different perspectives. In any case, we will move on to reviewing episode 6, Take Care, Miss Nanami, in our next episode review of the series. And if you can't wait until my next episode review, check out one of my previous episode reviews to catch up on everything Utena related. But until next time, catch you on the flip side.